My friend, aloha. I'd like to take 2 moments to talk about the circle of fifths. Honestly, this isn't as hard as it should be. What we want to do is we want to see what to call things. In language, I wouldn't say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. I would say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and go back to A. The way I remember is A, G, A to G. Right before A, G. Right after A, B. If you could say your letters backwards and just quite literally say C, B, A, you could remember that when you go C, B, A, G, F, that is a fifth. Well, the circle fifths moves in fifths. So when I draw a circle, I'm quite literally having C has no sharps or flats right here. When I have 1 sharp, I've got a G major, 2 is going to be a D major, 3 is going to be a A, 4 is going to be an E, 5 is going to be B. At this point, when I have my 6, I'm going to have the same thing, F sharp, but it's also going to be a G flat. Oh, jeez. So with that G flat, those are called enharmonic equivalents. With enharmonic equivalents, it's the same thing as saying C flat is a B, but I generally don't call a C flat a C flat. I call it a B. There's only a few keys that I'll say that, and honestly, when you're speaking, after a period of time when you're building a chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're just looking for the 1, 3, and 5. So if we know that in the key of C there's no sharps, no flats, that means all of those notes are natural. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. I don't say C, D, E, F, G, A, B, as in C flat, because I wouldn't say C twice. C, D, E, F, G, A, C flat, C. Sounds weird. I would not say things twice when talking to you. So I don't do it when I'm speaking musically. So when I have 7 sharps here, I'm gonna have the key of C sharp. I love C sharp because that's C sharp, D sharp, B sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, and C sharp. Now granted, E sharp and B sharp are F natural and C natural. However, when we're saying that in C sharp, as I aforementioned, it's gonna have that awkward way of phrasing it. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go the other way. Now, don't do yourself a disservice. When you go from C to F, that's a fifth. Same thing on a piano. When you're on any instrument that strings, when you're counting a minor second to a minor second to a minor second to a minor second, it's going to be 7 minor seconds. So if you count them, C to C sharp, 1, C sharp to D, 2, D, so on and so forth. When you get all the way up to your fifth, that's gonna be 7 of those. If you want to look at it this way, you have a major and a minor stacked together when you're trying to move those, and that actually puts together the math for it if you're looking at it that way. When we have an F, we only have 1 flat, because in C, no sharps, no flats. So in this key, F, we've got 1. That's going to be our B flat. In the key of B flat, we're going to have 2, and then it keeps going in fifths. So if you follow your circle of fifths all the way through, you're going to inevitably end up back at the same place here, G flat, and then you're going to have your 7th, which is going to be C flat, has 7 flats. When we move around here, and I'm just going to use a different color, and hopefully the color I pick is going to be super bright. Make it stand out. We have 1 flat here, it's B flat. When we go to our B flat, we have the B flat from before, and we also have an E flat. Now what happens is every single one of these and every single one of these are just going to be a half step back, and that's what's going to be your new flat added on. Or you can look at it this way, everything's a fifth away. So when we do the G's, we'll explain that. Let me go through and write these. We've got the B flat, E flat. So when I spell out E flat major, I say E flat major. My next, my 2nd, my 3, and my 6 are going to be minors always. My 1, 4, and 5 are going to be majors, and my 7th is going to be a diminished. So once we grasp the idea of when I say E flat, I have to have E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and then E again. But some of those are going to have names that are not flat, and some of them are going to have names that are not sharp. When we're defining flat keys, we don't really say sharp notes in there. We use their enharmonic equivalent. So when I'm doing the B and E inside of here, I also know that E has 1 more flat. It's A flat. So when I say this, I have to say E flat major. I'm going to say F minor, G minor, and then I'm going to have an A flat major, and then I'm going to have a B flat major. My next is going to be C minor, and then I'm going to have my diminished, which is going to be D diminished. So when we're looking at these, we can see when we're going through the circle of fifths, if you actually just count back 4 notes, so like in the key of F, there's 1 flat. You gotta remember F has 1 flat, it's B flat. You gotta remember that G has 1 sharp, it's F sharp. Once you do that, it sets the stage for the rest of these. Now granted, as I was aforementioning, you could add on the next one and just look at it in this fashion, that when you're writing these out, Sorry about that. When you're writing these out, you just literally add the next ones on here. The circle fifths is all about regurgitation, using it over and over again, the practice of practicing the practice, and therefore you're going to be putting yourself into a place where just by saying these things over and over again, you'll gravitate towards seeing them on a piano and on a guitar, on a ukulele, even in your head if you're singing. What we like to do is pick stuff like picking a C major and having, let's see if I can hit it. Ooh, very close. So C, 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 D, E, F, G, A, B, C. That's that Ionian mode. That's a major scale. If I wanted to make that a Mixolydian scale, I would flat the seventh. We'll get way into that later in another video. But if I was going to hear that, I would also say C, D, E, F, G, A, B flat, C, which is a whole step away from that resolution. We'll get into that later, but being able to know what those notes are really helps being able to describe and communicate with other musicians. Also, if you're starting off teaching, this is also a great way to learn how to communicate with your students. So when we're going to go through, I'm just going to keep adding these. Of course, at this point, you want to see why a G flat is this, and why it has 6 flats, and what those flats are. The easiest way to understand this is when we go through all of these things, and we've got the B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, sorry about my handwriting, yeah, C flat, and then F flat. A lot of these you'll see over and over again. When we're moving these, this has our 7 flats. C sharp's going to have our 7 sharps. Now I'm going to write them backwards for us, but I'm going to write them in the way that I actually just see them in my brain, and we'll explain how those are. In C sharp, we have an F sharp, a C sharp, we've got a G sharp, a D sharp, an A sharp, an E sharp, a B sharp, and thusly concludes our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As I said, in C sharp, every one of them are sharp. So here's the fun part about this for me. C has no sharps, no flats. G has 1 sharp, it's F sharp. If you could just remember F is right here and keep going that way, you could quite literally layer. So if you wanted to know how many sharps were in the key of D, and you know that there's 1 in G and there's 2 in D, F sharp is going to be one of those. The way to find the next one is go 5 notes away. F, G, A, B, C. So the next sharp is going to be C sharp. So in the key of G, I've got G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, then F sharp diminished. Because that 7th is always going to be the diminished. Okay, so in the key of D, I've got 2. I've got F sharp and C sharp. In the key of A, we have F sharp, C sharp, F sharp, C sharp, and then G sharp. So you can utilize the circle fifths just to look at it, but the other way to do this is when you're going, okay, let's say E. In E, I know that A had F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. How do I know what the next sharp is going to be? I can either go G, A, B, C, D, 5 notes away, or go a half step backwards and you'll see your next one. In the key of E, we already have E sharp, C sharp, and G sharp. How do I know that A sharp is the next one? Well, when I'm looking at this, I could go C, F, and G are part of mine. E major, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A major, B major, C minor. And how do I know that my D is going to be a D sharp? Well, what's the note right before an E major? Or just a note right before an E? It's a E flat, or enharmonically, it's a D sharp, which gives us our last key signature to put in there. So when we're playing these on the piano or on the guitar, what we do is we memorize how to go do, re, do, re, do, re. In the key of E would be E, F sharp, E, F sharp. On a guitar would be open, 2nd fret, open, 2nd fret. If you're gonna be playing on the piano, we'd have our, what are we doing? Let's do right hand. Right hand, we've got C, D, E. So if I'm going for my E right here, I'd be going to an F sharp, I'd be going E to my 5th finger. It's almost an extension. Feels almost like you're doing a augmented chord with that movement, but it's not a C, E, G sharp. Anywho, I digress. When we're going back to here for our B, we're gonna have 5 sharps. When I tell you the next thing, if you've never seen this and you've been playing music for a while and you understand your circle fifths up to a certain point, but the idea comes, it's like, I know my circle fifths, how do I do this? I actually have a little bit of trouble doing this all the time. What I want to do is talk about F sharp and G flat. They seem weird, seem awkward, but check this nonsense out. I'm going to give you the holy grail on how to understand just these. Let's start at G. G, A, B, C, D, E, F. I know that the letter right before G is F, so that is the sharp I add. In the key of D, D, E, F sharp, which we just had, G, A, B, C, So that seventh tone needs to be a sharp, thusly giving me the next sharp. Or you can just count out 5 notes. What's the next one from C? C, D, E, F, G. Add that at the next note. After a period of time doing these over and over, you will just notice what they are. When you have muscle memory on piano and on guitar, it'll just fall into place. So here's the caveat that I really want to speak about, and I want us to see this and understand it for what it's worth. In the key of G major, I have 1 sharp. That sharp is F sharp, the 7th tone. So when I've got my 1, 4, and 5 that are going to be major, I've got the 2, 3, and 6, which are going to be minor. And then I wrap around the corner and I get this diminished, which is my favorite. And I could spend a whole episode doing this and talk about our diminished phrasing. Not so hard considering there's only 4 major chords: major, minor, sorry, bad phrasing, 4 types of chords: major, minor, augmented, and diminished. These phrasings are a type of interval. 1, 3, and 5 makes a major. 1, flat 3, and 5 makes a minor. 1, flat 3, and flat 5 makes a diminished. And 1, natural 3, and sharp 5 makes an augmented. What happens when you play a triad like a C major, C, E, G, and then you add on that minor diminished on the end of it? You get this kind of tone which moves the music, which we'll talk about in another lesson. So 1, 4, and 5 major, we've got 2, 3, and 6 are going to be minor. And what I'd like to talk about now is in the key of G major, the 1 is G, A minor, lowercase denotes minor. I could also put a little dash here, but it becomes a little bit jumbled. We have a B minor. Remember what I said was the only sharp in the key of G? G has 1 sharp, it's F. So when we get to that note in our spelling, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, it's our diminished. C major, D major, E minor, and here's our wonderful F sharp diminished. Here's where we go. I'm gonna blow your mind right here. Anybody who's never seen this before, watch this video right here at this point. Slow or fast, doesn't matter. G, A, B, C, D, E, F. In the key of G flat, there are 6 flats. Every natural note inside of here, accidentals are either a flat, a sharp, or a natural. We don't say natural because that's a G natural, A natural, B natural, C natural. The only note inside this line, stanza, speaking, is the F sharp, not a natural. So my friend, that is the only note in the G flat which is not a flat. It's the only one that's natural, so you can quickly know one key and quickly regurgitate the next one. While doing this, whoa, if you go fast, you miss it. Go slow, go slow, go slow. Even the way I'm speaking, too fast, go up here, change the speed at which this is, and slow this down and watch it. So G, spell it out with me. G is a natural in here, so it's a flat in our G flat. There are 6 flats. G flat major, A flat minor, B flat minor, C flat major, D flat major, E flat minor, and then F diminished. It is that Tito, that half step we're looking for. So don't be weirded out by key signatures. Key signatures are only there so you don't feel lost. And by the time you write this out once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and you apply it with the piano, holding your fingers going, I have 5 fingers. C, D, E, F, G. Oh, sorry, that was F. C, D, E, F, G, F, G, A, B flat, C. When you do this, you'll notice that your fingers exhibit your 1, 3, 5. All chords are made of triads. All triads are made of notes. Now, generally, you can do shell notes if you're comping on a piano. You can play like the 3rd and the 7th of whatever you're in. We'll get into more into that in music theory. However, when utilizing this, the best way to see your circle fifths is just an explanation on how you know what chords are what inside your key. So if we're playing in the key of G major, you can't play an A major because an A major has a C sharp in it. That G major has this C sharp in it. It's not going to work well over the top. So a G major, when I move it a bit, if I have that C sharp, doesn't fit exactly into here. The way we do this, we see that as an augmented note. Either an augmented 4th or a flat 5, either way you want to see it. In jazz, we call them a lot of flat 5s. We use those in utilization with the 9th, the 11th, and the 13th. We never really call things 10th through 12th because that's just a minor and it's a sus. Of which we'll get into more of that terminology later. And what we're doing here, the more we talk about these things and the more you hear expressions like what are accidentals? Well, an accidental is just a natural note, a sharp note, or a flat note. Sometimes you have weird ones, like you could, in the key of F, you could characterize E double flat as a D, And there's no way to explain why we would say E double flat other than the way we write it. When we get into more of how to see these enharmonic equivalents and how to actually speak about chords in relativity to what key signature you're in and what you're actually trying to accomplish, things will make more sense. This, in the key of C, lays out your foundation. So what I would say is in the key of C major, get rid of everything else except for your first expression. And your first expression in this is C major, has no sharps, no flats. So my 1, my 4, and my 5 are going to be C, D is my minor, E is my minor, F is my major, G is my major, A is my minor, and then B diminished. Here's how you know what a B diminished is. Well, if a C, E, G is my 1, 3, 5, and that spells a C, E, G, and that is a major, and then a flat third, the flatting the mediant makes it a minor, and then flatting the sixth together with that makes a diminished. If you have this other chord, which is just an E, natural 3, and then a sharp 5, we get an augmented. If all chords are built out of that, when you move this D, F to the A and skip 3, that D is not an F sharp. I'm sorry, the F sharp is not a major third, it's a minor third, meaning the tonality of that becomes a not a In the key of C major, when you have your 3 fingers, you can quite literally play C, E, and G and then go up in triads. And you get a C major, D minor, E minor, G major, A, B, C, D, E, F, G major, A minor, and then this last chord, which is sometimes awkward, is nothing more than a B, skip the C, hit a D, skip the E, and hit an F. A B diminished is spelled B, a D, a F. And no matter what you play that on, it will give you that it'll do a resolution. So if you're playing C major and you flatten the third and you flatten the fifth and you play that, guess what key that resolves to? It resolves to C sharp major. I hope that wasn't too much information. We're going to go back over that circle of fifths and how to do this. But at this point in this video and the rest of these theory type videos, I would say that the circle of fifths explanations will be used as the foundation. The first mode that we're going to be going through in these structures is called the Ionian. Ooh, not double I, Ionian. Ionian, it's going to be a 1, actually I'll just write these out as standard. It's going to be straight through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. There are no accidentals. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. You can even go through and say these: D major, E minor, F sharp minor, G major, A major, B minor, and then you could go to your 7th and say C sharp diminished. Also with that B minor, the 6th of every chord is your relative minor, meaning B minor has the same amount of accidentals that D major did, the 2. I hope this was a good amount of information to get going. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below. I want to talk to you. I would love to talk to you. And as always, keep playing music, my friend, my friend. Aloha.